Honest assessment of Christian McCaffrey. He's good. 4.8 yards per carry, runs hard, quick, good receiver, good player. But what I thought was interesting about today is that Jeff Wilson Jr. was better. Not to say that Jeff Wilson Jr. is better, because Jeff Wilson Jr. is a little inconsistent. He's fumbled twice this year. But today, he was better. And I think it's interesting, like, the Niners essentially said he's not good enough. And it's funny, they've been trying to replace him all year. They've had Jeff Wilson on the team for years. He's really good. They traded up for Trey Sermon. They drafted Ty Davis Price. They traded for Christian McCaffrey. Like, Jeff Wilson isn't good enough. When, frankly, he is way far down the list of the Niners' problems. Actually, he's one of their bigger assets. And they felt he was the guy they needed to replace. Not Mike McGlinchey. Not Jimmy Garoppolo. Jeff Wilson Jr. So Jeff Wilson Jr. comes out and runs as well as I've ever seen him run. As hard as I've ever seen him run. Makes a statement. Averages almost 8 yards a carry. And the statement is, great, Christian McCaffrey's here, terrific. Can't stop playing me because I'm really, 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 really good too. And I think it's too bad that the Niners have been trying to replace Jeff Wilson Jr. for years when he's a good running back for cheap. What more do you want? Elijah Mitchell's coming back, another good running back for cheap. Jordan Mason, inactive today. I have a feeling, good running back for cheap. But no, the Niners want to spend tons of money on good running backs. So they have a lot of good running backs and a bad offense. Funny how that goes. You know, it's funny. When the Niners traded for Christian McCaffrey, I saw a bunch of analysts nationally saying the Niners offense is going to be unstoppable because of Christian McCaffrey. Nothing against Christian McCaffrey. He is good. But you could give Jimmy Garoppolo, Christian McCaffrey, Bo Jackson in his prime, Barry Sanders in his prime, Jerry Rice in his prime, Randy Moss in his prime, Calvin Johnson. You could give him all the greatest players of all time. He'd still be Jimmy Garoppolo. And then the coach would still be Kyle Shanahan. That's what I've been saying all year. The issues with the offense are as systemic as it gets. Head coach and quarterback and offensive line. Stockpiling running backs doesn't fix that, as good as Christian McCaffrey is. So now the Niners have to keep Jeff Wilson Jr. involved. What's funny is, like, so Christian McCaffrey had a good game today, but really, at what expense? At the expense of Jeff Wilson Jr. Jeff Wilson Jr. was feeling it today. He was on fire. But he had to give up half of his carries to Christian McCaffrey, who didn't know the offense and didn't run quite as well as he did today, although he ran well too. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Christian McCaffrey, at least today, was a net zero. He wasn't an addition to the offense. He just came at the expense of Jeff Wilson's carries. So instead of having one running back play well, you had two running backs play well. Great. Rotate him, keep him fresh, but it didn't lead to more points or a better offense. What would have led to more points or a better offense would have been a new right tackle or a new quarterback. I know it's hard to get a new quarterback this late in the season, but there's got to be a right tackle who's better than Mike McGlinchey. My God, he's terrible. In fact, Daniel Brunskill's better than him. Daniel Brunskill should have been the right tackle in this game. Mike McGlinchey's awful, but I'm not talking about him yet. I'm talking about Christian McCaffrey. Good player. I just don't see him making the impact the Niners need. Again, they misevaluated their roster. They thought, we're this close. We're beating ourselves. All we need is one more good player. Doesn't matter what position. Doesn't matter what his skill set is. One more good player will be unstoppable. You just got stopped. Gregory says, Reed found the jet sweep was working and he did what a real coach does. Keep calling it till they stop it, unlike Kyle Shanahan, who never calls plays again. Yeah, remember in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs when the end around to Deebo Samuel was like getting 16 yards a carry and then Kyle stopped calling it in the fourth quarter because he's a genius. Remember that? That was so smart. I loved that. That was my favorite. Tommy says, McBust Lynchy is absolute dog water. Yikes. Is that worse than regular water? Jairo Mendoza says 3rd and 3 in the red zone and let Jimmy pass. Yeah, that's Kyle's fault, man. I mean, as bad as Jimmy is, Kyle's just as bad. They are so made for each other. His running backs aren't the issue. It's the run plays. Damn it, Kyle, says Joey Mellons. Damn it, Kyle. Whenever I say Kyle, I always want to say it in the Cartman voice. Damn it, Kyle. When Kyle loses, he is Kyle. Come on, Kyle. That's how I feel. Thoughts on how Purdy played? I honestly didn't even watch. I walked down to the auditorium to get ready to interview Cal, and I was kind of keeping an eye on the game, but I'll have to go back and watch the tape. Also seen enough of Purdy season best Jimmy. I'll have to go back and watch. I didn't even watch. Team is very inconsistent. O-line looked flimsy. Too much talent to be this lackluster. Jimmy was Jimmy, and Andy Reid threw darts at a board to pick plays to run through the Niners D, as E40 would say, dusted and disgusted. He would say that. Andy Reid is really good. The difference between Andy Reid and Kyle Shanahan is like the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Jim Tomsula. It's that stark. And I still think it's funny that the Niners and Kyle Shanahan said this week that they had the best team in 2019 and should have won the Super Bowl. First of all, no, you didn't. Second of all, if you really had the best team and lost the Super Bowl, what does that say about you, Kyle? That you lost with the best team? They're still in denial. Grant, 3rd and 3, takes out CMC. 3rd and 4, Jarek, 40 yards. Yep, that's the difference between Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. You give Jerick McKinnon to Kyle Shanahan, he's terrible. You give Jerick McKinnon to Andy Reid, playmaker. Huh. But Christian McCaffrey is going to save Kyle Shanahan, right? Any chance Niners can trade for Aaron Rodgers? No. No more picks. Sorry. They got Christian McCaffrey, though. They got another good running back. You can't have enough good running backs. I didn't see this ass whooping coming. Neither did I. I thought the Niners would lose by 3. I'm so naive. CMC wasn't used in drive. Jimmy threw interception at goal line. Okay. Maybe they'll win next week if they use him more. The Dark Azrael says Trey Lance couldn't win with this offensive line. Get rid of Mike McGlinchey. Probably true. Or this coach. But the problem is that Jimmy keeps making the same mistakes. Maybe Trey would have learned because Jimmy doesn't. Muid says Trey plus Jimmy for Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Trade Bosa for Aaron Rodgers. How about that? Jed, don't let Harbaugh leave the building without a contract. Trade Kyle, the offensive guru, immediately. Agree. Vic says Niners haven't had an elite secondary this century. This D unit and the one in the Harbaugh era lived and died by the front seven. Match that with an underperforming O, the Niners will come up short. What's crazy is they had a nice secondary for like a month and a half, and then Mosley got hurt. Why can't Jimmy hit the dump off on the blitz? And if they only play cover 3 the whole time, any quarterback is going to shred this D. This D got punked 2 weeks in a row. Here comes the Hardman on another jet sweep. Yeah, this defense really talked a big game for a defense that hadn't been tested, and now they're getting embarrassed. Gun Down says Kyle has no flow as an offense coordinator. Always does the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Stick to the run. Yeah, but he's genius, so it's okay. Sammy says the more the season goes on, the more the Niners get exposed as a whole organization. Wrong? Correct. But they have Christian McCaffrey. He'll save everything. It's okay. Christian, it's up to you.